Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Dr. Jerry Doby, and today, today, it is my honor to be with this young lion by the name, we know him as Buddy Red. His
How y'all
gov
doing?
is something else. You can look at the picture and know that this is Messiah. But Buddy Red is the person that we're talking about today. He's an emerging singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. And as Buddy read, he's got the audiences buzzing right now with the release of his new powerful joint, Sold His Soul. Known for weaving guitar wizardry, buttery vocals, and raw cinematic soundscapes. Buddy drew inspiration from icons like Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, James Brown. I saw some Bootsy up in there. He's got the Delta blues going on. Um, man, I promise you, this guy is carving out his own lane with a boldly modern sound. So he's got his own imprint. So Soul to Soul was released on Buddy Red Music LLC, which is your own
Yeah,
imprint. And it's followed by your debut single, 1958. Uh,
yeah,
which marked a new chapter in your evolution as an artist. The emotionally charged blues rock anthem, was written. He was just 19, and it showcases his truth-telling lyricism and visceral guitar work. I promise you, it's dope. And then also to celebrate, Buddy has announced a U.S. tour, bringing his electrifying stage presence to cities across the country, from California to New York. But beyond music, he's a good corporate citizen and a human, that focuses on the rest of his community. He's partnered with BMW of Atlanta in the past and the Atlanta Hawks on creative campaigns and community initiatives, proving, that he's not just a singer, not just an entertainer, but he's committed to having an impact off stage as he is redefining blues rock on stage. Now
right.
we're gonna talk about this debut EP that's coming up
Mhm.
2026. And so I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's talk about, Soul is Soul, the tour, your mission to, to reimagine the blues for a new generation.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Sold his soul, like that's it's definitely the mark of the next step for me because it's I don't think I put out anything else like it since before.
Mm,
When I wrote it, I was probably 2021, and I wrote it because I had this impression at the time that if I wanted to get further along in my life, if I wanted to get to the places that I've never been with my guitar, it would require me to sell out, sell my soul, and
mm,
just be a part of the machine, and just change different things about myself that I felt would be, you know, just not true to who I am.
okay.
And at that time, I was very frustrated, and so I wrote the scenario that I saw myself going through if I were to play the game. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Selling my soul for $1. And hell, like it's a lot of young men out there selling their soul for a woman,
mm.
because she expects things from him that are not necessarily true to him. But, as young men, we see a pretty woman, we want to be everything that she wants us to be. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're young.
Look, I'm 62, brother. I'm married to the same woman for 22 years. It don't change because you get married. You're still trying to prove yourself.
Mm,
You're still trying to make sure that they smile. That's the biggest flex is when your woman smile. To me, now, that's just me.
yeah.
But you wrote this at 2019. You first wrote it. Was there a benchmark moment when you decided to revisit it and then go ahead and record it?
Yes, man. I had made my first solo trip to New York by myself, and I think I stayed there for about a week. I was in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and I was very intimidated by the city. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was there by myself, and I was in Bushwick,
Mm,
and I was in somebody, I don't know what the apartment situation was, but it was very small and
mm.
very cramped. It was very New York,
Right, 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 right.
And I had this session up there with a producer that I was introduced to. And when I went to the session, took the train, walked, did all that stuff. And we sat and we met for a little bit. He said, "So, what do you want to do? What kind of music you want to make?" We started listening to a couple of my influences like Pink Floyd.
Mm.
And he said, "Yeah, okay, you want to make some stuff like this. All right, how do you want to start?" I thought about it. I said, "Well, I got this song that I've been sitting on for a while." And I played him the riff, the guitar riff for Sold His Soul. He said, "Okay, yeah, we could start there." And we started there. He started, putting, other elements behind it. He said, "All right, you got any lyrics?" I said, "Funny you should ask. I got the whole song written out."
Oh no.
And when I went into the booth and I did the first Sold His Soul for $1 part, I could tell like, oh, I haven't done it like this before. Like, this feels completely different. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know if it's because I'm working with this new guy. I don't know if it's because I'm in a new city. I don't know if it's because, I'm going through a lot, I guess, change wise as a young man. But this is what I've been looking for when I wrote the song. And here it is.
Mm.
That was the benchmark moment.
So to coin the phrase, you had a developed an unchained melody, so to speak. You broke the chains, you know. And I'm not trying to steal the title of anybody else's song, but I could just feel, and I don't make music, but when I write a great story and something just breaks out, and you go, I've been thinking about this concept for so long, and here I am, and I get a chance, and you get in touch with yourself. When you meet yourself, then you're able to deliver that which what you were thinking. Is that about right? Is that how you feel?
Man, yeah, like these people, like your listener, whether you have listeners, whether you have readers, whether you have people that just watch, they they want you to be authentic. They want to know who you are. They want to know that personal thing about you. You know what I mean? And for me, and for a lot of people, it's a little difficult to find, when you're searching for it yourself. But when you live enough, when you experience enough, and when you handle situations the way that you would handle them enough,
Mm,
you begin to deliver what they want, which is
mm,
just authenticity, which is you. They want
mm,
you.
mm,
And especially today, in today's day and age, when, social media and there's so many different comparisons in your face, people don't really know who they are. They just see a whole bunch of different things that they want, a
mm,
whole bunch of different lifestyles that they want,
mm,
and they just kind of lose who they are in the process. But I I do my best to maintain who I am and search for who I am. And I think we all should, so that we can deliver and give 100% in everything that we do, whether it's making music, whether it's cooking, whether
mm,
it's teaching, whatever it is. You got to know yourself to do
mm.
it the best.
Well, you know what? Welcome to your reality, because what you're delivering for us to witness through music is an amazing ride, and I'm like excited now. Come on now. I came up with Jimmy, as a kid, and then I'm looking at the fashion because I was looking at your video, the Soul to Soul video too. I'm like, you went all the way there with the bell bottoms and the vest, and I was like, oh man, the style reminded me. You took me home, and you met me where I'm at, with real music, what I consider to be real music, well constructed. Anyway, so much for my opinions. I love what you're doing, and thank you for doing it. So this process of discovery and evolution, you know, it brought about a different process for you. How do you feel like this single differs? Oh Lord, we lost him. He froze up. Okay, we're going to pause the recording until maybe. Okay, we just were talking about uh your creative process for Soul to Soul, and you were explaining that. How did uh the creative process of this single differ from your debut in 1958 in terms of creative process and musical evolution?
So with 1958, I recorded it all myself. I
Hmm.
played all the instruments myself. I produced it myself. and I had full creative control over it because I recorded it at my house, you
Mm,
know.
mm,
Um, and then I took it to a studio for it to be touched up and sound the way that it does now. And so that one was very, I guess you could say, personal and very in tune with who I was at the time.
mm,
Whereas with Soul to Soul, there are multiple producers on it, including myself. You know, there's multiple instrumentalists on it, and I feel like I was very more. I mean, excuse me. I feel like I was more confident with my voice with Soul
mm,
to Soul, and all those things combined, they it took me to the next level, I believe.
mm. It's definitely magical. Uh, Both sonically,
Hmm.
of course, the visuals really impressive. You know what I mean? Y'all go out there and go to YouTube and check out Buddy Red. I promise you, it's an experience that you will not regret. Your sound blends blues, rock, soul, and psychedelia. How do you balance it?
Hmm.
How do you balance the influences with shaping a sound that feels uniquely yours? And then as a multi-instrumentalist, do you ever get confused with the sonics in the creation process? Because I'm like, you play like 75 instruments. How do you separate all that? You know what I mean?
Understood. So, as far as balancing all of the different influences that, are part of what I do, I keep in mind that the blues is the foundation of what it is that I do,
Hmm.
mostly because everything after the blues is still rooted within the blues. It's still rooted within Muddy Waters,
Hmm.
uh, Charlie Patton, Robert Johnson, Howlin' Wolf. All of those guys were the original rock and rollers,
Right.
And I always keep that in mind whenever I'm going off into a different direction. Like if I'm doing something more psychedelic, I
Hmm.
think of I think of Pink Floyd and Jimi Hendrix and how they were also influenced by the blues.
Hmm.
And I'm going something a little more hard rock. I'm thinking about Led Zeppelin and how they were definitely influenced by the blues. And with all these things in mind, I also try to keep in mind of who I am and
Right.
how I would approach all of these things. And so with all of that, it becomes very natural, it becomes me just trying stuff and seeing what comes, at the end of the finish line.
Okay.
Sometimes it's pretty surprising.
Mm.
Other times it's okay, let me switch this up a little bit. And that kind of transitions into the second part of my answer, which is like the instrumentals, the multi-instrumental thing.
Hmm.
I If I feel like something is just a little bit off, I might just change the drum beat up a little bit, or I might find a different place to play certain bass lines, or I might change the guitar riff. It's like a little puzzle, not a little puzzle. It can be a big puzzle or a little puzzle, but
Right.
either way, I'm changing or switching little puzzle pieces in the form of drums, bass, or guitar. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it becomes fun. It becomes a game almost for me.
Is that the most fun part about it? Is the arrangement?
Let me see. In my opinion, the most fun part is, hmm, let me see. I would say the most fun part is, yeah, arranging it. Like being at the studio or in the case of 1958 at my house
Hmm.
and working it out in my head and on the drums at the same time. Like, okay, this is the drum beat, and around this time is when the bass comes in.
Hmm.
Okay, and then when the bass and the drums are in, around this time is when I'm gonna play my guitar. Like, it's really fun doing that and knowing what's gonna happen while I'm only on the first step, which is playing the drum beat. You know, it's something else. It's a trip.
That discovery process as each thing pans out and lays itself and presents itself to you, you're creating this live story, right, on this blank canvas. I'm just amazed at the creative part of that. So, so you have some fun. Having Going on the road is also fun. And from your past experiences on the road, what has stood out to you most? Because you just, like we discussed earlier, announced a U.S. tour to celebrate this release. What's you know the highlights from the road for you? Is it audience interaction? Do you get like this supreme karmic energy coming back to you that feeds you? What is it?
What makes me most excited about being on the road is all the time that I have on stage.
Mm,
Like I'm on the stage just about every day, and I've always told myself and told everybody around me that I need to be playing the guitar more. I need to be on stage more
mm,
because, before the tour, I would be on stage maybe once or twice, maybe three times out of each week.
right.
But when you're on when you're on tour, like you're on the stage just about every day of the week. And it's a lot of time and a lot of opportunity for me to make discoveries of myself like on the stage, every day.
Mm,
It's and then it's these aren't just 30, I mean, these aren't just like 15-minute sets that I'm doing. Like if I were to go to a jam session or an open mic night in Atlanta, like these are real shows that I have to put on. And so I learn a lot about what I want to do, what I feel comfortable doing, what I want to try when I have more opportunities to try it.
right.
Let me see. Being on stage is definitely one of the most exciting parts about being on tour, but also meeting new people,
Mm,
knowing that if I were to sit down here long enough, I could build a fan base because they love this show right now.
mm,
What if I stayed a little longer? How many other people would love it?
right.
That's also exciting.
That's got to be fun. So you're very artistic, and I feel that you're contributing to the fabric of music in modern day and opening some minds. So you've blended and melded effortlessly into like Philadelphia's Urban Art Day and Indianapolis's Fine Art Fair, which both highlight, art and culture. What did it mean for you to perform at these type of places, these spaces?
So I'm gonna be at Butter's Fine Art Fest this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm
But
ahead.
playing in Philly was great, man. Like everybody felt like my cousin or my brother or my sister. They were very, very homey and very welcoming. And to be on that stage, like I didn't know that it's like a tradition in Philadelphia for live performers to do like an extended solo.
Ah,
And I figured that out at the very end of my set. My bass player, he was like, "Hey, yeah, let's do a solo." So, oh, okay, cool. Coincidentally, that's one of my favorite things to do. And so we did our solo, and they loved it. Took a lot of pictures, man. My new T-shirts that just came in not too long ago, they were eating those up. It was it was very it felt very personal.
mm,
I want to come back. I want to come back to Philly, and I'm excited for what other cities feel that same way.
mm.
It's a trip, man.
It is absolutely amazing that you're able to come from ATL, go to Philly, come on, Gamble and Huff, the Philly sound, and go in there and wow those audiences. That is a high, high, high bar in that city. And like you said, at the end, they want the extended piece, like show me who you are on that guitar. So you're rocking your axe and turning them out. And to win like that in Philly as a youth, that's celebrating iconic sounds and melding all those and juxtaposing all of those different types of sounds into one stage presentation in Philly. Oh my Lord, the pressure had to be heavy because you realize where you're at. And then, the audience is there. Bro, them folks is tough. Bro, I went into place just to order a damn Philly cheesesteak, and then I got looked. I'm like, man, will you please hurry up and make my sandwich? Let me get up out of here, Playboy, Playboy. So, I really love your community initiatives. You know, as you're rising, you still have enough energy to pour back into the community. So beyond the stage, you've worked with BMW of Atlanta and the Atlanta Hawks on community initiatives. Um, how did those collaborations connect with your artistry, bro?
Those collaborations, they bring me closer to the city that is responsible for me being able to do what it is that
Mm,
I do. Because
mm,
if it wasn't for my city, Atlanta,
mm.
my pops, he wouldn't, I don't think my pops would have made it to the level that he made it to without Atlanta. And it's just being with him as often as I've been around him. I mean, that's my pops,
Right, right, right.
all the things, all the things that he's, taught us as far as remembering where we came from and giving back, because there's a couple of other things that we would do throughout the years as family tradition. Like
Right.
every Christmas we would do like a gift drive. We would give gifts for to kids,
Mm,
and every Thanksgiving we would do a turkey drive. And him kind of instilling that within us at a young age just made further collaborations on my own feel natural, you know what I mean?
mm.
And I think it's very necessary. It's very necessary to pay attention to, acknowledge, and give whatever you can to the people that are responsible for you, you know?
That part, that part. It keeps you grounded, keeps you connected with humanity, because as you elevate through the climb, I say as you climb Jacob's ladder, in this industry, you get more and more distant from your base because people are pulling on you, their opportunities to do this and your different focuses and things like that as you're creating your art and meeting a deeper part of yourself. Those community initiatives help keep you grounded, like you said, remind you and get you familiar air. It's like taking your shoes off and walking in grass. You know what I mean? Reconnecting with that energy. And so being connected with the basic human, you know what I mean? Blues rock, which is part of what you do, often carries themes of loss and liberation. What role do those themes play in his soul?
Loss and liberation. Well, like I said earlier, like when I wrote the song, I felt like I would have had to give up or lose a lot of things about myself
Mm,
that I didn't want to give up
okay.
if I wanted to win. But now I look back and I realize that I wasn't selling my soul. I was growing and I was changing and I was developing into the person that could better handle. Give me 1 second.
Good.
Um,
Good. This is a live session. Life happens. You know what I mean? Doorbells ring, folks come in and interrupt. I got you. I got you. But go ahead and finish, brother.
but when I wrote the song at the time, I was only thinking lose, lose, lose. I got to lose this thing about myself. I got to lose that thing about myself. And I had to be inauthentic if I want to gain.
Mm,
But now looking back, I realized that I had to get that out of my system in order to realize what it really meant.
mm,
And looking back, I now believe that if you want to get to a place that you've never been, you have to be a person that can handle the things that come with it. You know what I mean?
right.
And that just makes you a more developed person. That just makes you a vessel that grows. And
Mm,
so bringing the blues into that, yeah, like countless blues songs about people that lose their woman, that lose their money, lose their motivation, and lose all that stuff.
right.
And in the case of Soul to Soul, comparing it to that, I I felt like I lost. a negative part about myself. I felt like I lost
Okay.
the part of, man,
What was something that was weighing you down and holding you back from being your authentic self? You were able to
exactly.
detach from that.
With that song, with those
Perfect.
words that I spoke.
Okay. Okay. That's kind of like, releasing yourself from the chains and images of psychological slavery.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel you. I feel you. And that freedom, man, when you get that first breath of real freedom, when you free yourself internally, unchange yourself, and you go, damn, this is really good stuff. That's coming up out of me, and I really appreciate me. It's great.
And I think that's the reason why, up until I went to New York to record it,
Mm,
it never sounded the way that I wanted it to because I was still trapped within myself.
hmm
Even when I wrote the song, I had a lot of things that I was battling within myself because I wouldn't let myself go forward.
right.
But when I traveled to New York alone and I recorded it and I said those words the way that I said them for the first time, I
Mm,
think that's when I subconsciously knew that I was liberating myself in a way, you
okay.
know?
Okay, okay. And then with that, you unlocked, I hear that your live shows are described as electrifying and unpredictable. What do you what do you aim to give, audiences, every time you step on the stage? I know you have them in mind.
Yes, I know when I look at a live show, when I look at people performing with instruments, I know I'm always looking for them to make me feel something, not just with the music, but with their energy, with their bodies, with their attitude. I'm looking for more than just, I guess, ear candy. I'm looking for something that makes me want to keep watching
Mm,
versus keep listening.
mm,
And I just kind of, I really just kind of look back at history and what people used to do on stage to, capture people's attention because it was a lot.
mm,
It was very difficult to, mm, let me, you had to be very good back then. Like you had to really know your stuff because you
right.
were competing against a lot of great players and a lot of great artists back then, like
Mm,
James Brown, Jimi Hendrix,
mm,
Little Richard, uh, who else, man? Prince. Like you had a lot of people that really knew their stuff, and you
mm,
had to be as engaging as you possibly could be.
mm,
So every time I'm on stage, I'm thinking, how engaging can I be?
mm,
How can I make people want to keep watching? How can I keep them off of their phones or make them want to pick up their phone and record me so they can remember this?
mm.
And that comes in the form, to me, that comes, or to answer that question, that would be, can I play the guitar with my teeth? How well can I play the guitar behind my head? Can I play the guitar under my legs?
Mm.
Can I jump and do some kind of can I do some mini acrobatics with my guitar while playing?
Uh-huh.
Like I would just try as many different things on stage to find out number one what I can do,
Yeah.
and number two what I'm comfortable doing.
Mm.
And it's like I'm thinking about what I would want to see if I were in the audience watching myself,
I understand.
So I definitely think about the audience.
It seems to me like, as you're exploring all this liberation and whatnot, and then you're getting this energy back from the audience, it makes you want to party not only with yourself, but to share that party with the audience. They're just like driving you on, and turning it from a performance into a really connected party.
Yeah,
And that's the win, bro. I feel that's the win. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
I,
It's
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's almost like you're figuratively bringing them on stage with you.
Mm,
It's like It's something, man. It's kind of like you described. I wasn't even thinking about it until you described it. It is like a party, a
Mm-hmm,
festive event that's happening. That's what it's supposed to be.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely. I 100% agree. I like when I want to go to a concert. And now, you know, when I started going to concerts, you actually got seats. Now they want you to stand up, standing room only, so they can get as many bodies in there, But, from Tina Marie and Rick James coming out from, you know, or watching Bootsy and watching Earth, Wind and Fire come out and perform and really just entertain, you know what I mean? We gave that energy. They energized the audience. We energized them. And, you'd be like, man, maybe if we give them enough energy, they'll give us another solo. You know what I mean? Let me get another Buddy Red guitar solo at the end. Come on, will he come back and give us an encore? And so I can feel, that connection. And I enjoy, look, the video, cinematically shot, live kind of performance video for uh for the song. And I just whatever, man. I have your ass on here all day talking about this music, man.
Man, it's no problem.
The Messiah, you just don't know, bro. I really enjoy the project. I enjoy the nostalgia. I enjoy the home feeling of the music. And as I'm watching the audiences, you're hitting cross generationally. You know what I mean? I know you got gray hairs in the audience going, yeah, this is what I brought up with. I know you've got the young, music adventurers in the audience as well that are coming and going, yeah, yeah, I need that energy and they're melding. So you it's a contribution to the fabric of music overall,
Hmm.
and allowing people to be themselves and come and enjoy being themselves. And, you know, musically and creatively, if you're paying attention, people, he's throwing an alarm clock in the graveyard and waking up the dead. Say, hey, let's make real good music. Let's connect as human beings. Let's together, whatever that may be, in a positive, loving, accepting, you know, manner. And this is the music to do it. Get in touch with yourself.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, man, at how many different people stop me and talk to me and, voice what they what they like about what I do. They could be they could be black, white, young, old,
Mm,
male, female, and they all have very similar things to say. Like, I feel it, I understand, like, I love what you do. And
mm.
it's very familial, and I think that's again what it's supposed to be because we all have a lot more in common than we think. And music really makes that obvious.
Okay, okay. Last two questions that I have formally. Uh, you mentioned earlier your upbringing about giving back to the community, and you're a consistent supporter and have been of the Harris Community Works food and holiday drives. Just a natural thing. Now you're feeding them musically as well. But as you travel around, and we earlier talked about staying rooted and being at home. You know what I mean? How important is it for you to stay rooted in giving back in Atlanta specifically while you're still contributing to the fabric of music nationally and internationally?
Well, Atlanta's my home. This is where I was born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of it a little bit like how my mother and father raised me. Like, my father, he would take me and my brothers and sisters all over the world, all these different events, these
Mm-hmm.
nice restaurants, and we would see things that no other kid our age would see. But come Sunday night, we had to be home at our mother's house to get ready for school tomorrow, get ready for school for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And we would all live a very grounded lifestyle until the weekend came back around.
So, staying grounded in Atlanta is huge, and it shows. your grounding shows in the music. You know what I mean? That you're giving. So everything you've learned as part, you know, taught by your parents through your activities with the Harris Community Works food and holiday drives, plus the other initiatives that you as an individual have tapped into with major and local grassroots
Hmm.
supportive items, taps into your music. You're just giving. You're not just there in front of a microphone and come pay me $500 a ticket, you know, to see me perform and wow you with my musical acumen and genius. But, you know, I just love that it's giving in the music, sharing and trusting your audience with you after you have first trusted yourself. This is a huge declaration of I trust me in
Hmm.
soul, you know, sold his soul. And so I love it that you revisit it. Takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to deliver yourself, you know, to other people for review and acceptance. But I think you're also making music not only because you're part of this insane musical family tree between mom and dad, but because you love and you really have something to say and you're in touch with the wavelength on the universe that we need you to be. Anyway, never mind. I'm getting too damn complicated. New EP planned for 2026. Now I know that, you know, while stuff is in, you know, and at your level, you have to keep a lot of things G16 classified to still, you know, that term. But what can fans expect sonically and thematically from the next chapter of Buddy Red?
Next year from Buddy Red, as far as my next releases,
Hmm.
you can expect you can expect me to be playing a guitar as well as something else, whether
Okay.
it be drums or bass.
Okay.
You can expect me to be writing everything, and you can expect to hear some things that I've written or came up with years ago that I felt weren't ready. It's all going to be coincided with the things that have inspired me,
Mm-hmm.
like hard rock, blues rock,
Okay.
punk rock,
Mm-hmm.
psychedelic rock. You can expect to hear some, if not all of those influences in my music coming up. And I have a couple of stories to tell. I'm still figuring out whether or not I want that to be an album's worth of story or an EP worth of stories. I'm still working on that part, but you can expect you can expect me to get more and more comfortable. that's
Okay.
that's one of
Okay.
the main things I can say.
Okay. I'm excited to hear more. I hear you're going to be near me in Tulsa. Um,
Mhm.
so you're like 4 or 5 hours away. I'm like, I can't just up and go 4 or 5 hours to no concert, y'all. But if I could, I promise you, I'm motivated to do it. If I were
Mhm.
going to travel 5 hours for a concert at my age, um, I would come see a Buddy Red concert to see that, experience that live. You're powerful, and I
I
appreciate.
think I'm gonna be I think I'm gonna be closer to you sooner than we both think.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. I have it. I have this little birdie be in my ear, be like, and yeah. So I'm in that circle, with the discussion. So I'm listening, and trust me, I'm standing by. Um, I'm the regular journalist. I have my questions, but is there anything you wanted to cover that I may have neglected?
man, honestly, we this was it felt like a very healthy conversation, man. I talked about things that I wasn't even expecting to talk about, and it felt very natural, man. If there was anything that I wanted to say, I think I've already said it. Thanks to you.
I'm honored to have the opportunity, and thank you for the trust to release, yourself into the and elevate it from an interview into a conversation. That is to me one of the greatest compliments that a journalist can get. Um, and I don't want to tell you how to tell your story. I just want to help you moderate the story the conversation that you're having with yourself. You know what I mean? And we just sharing it out loud and on video. So I'm really honored to have had this opportunity. I welcome you back anytime. If you get to Kansas City, trust me, I'll be there with bells on. Y'all don't get funny. I'm not really gonna wear freaking bells. You know what I mean? Um, but I'm definitely going to come to enjoy myself and not. I'm coming to party. I think that you've unlocked your music has unlocked the party in me. And no, I'm not going to sing or say anything corny. How can they reach out to Buddy Red, and how can they keep tapped in?
You can find me on Instagram under Buddy Red. You can find me on TikTok as well. If not, Messiah Harris under Buddy Red as well. Let's see. You can find me on YouTube as well under Buddy Red and BuddyRedMusic.com. That's where you can find me.
All right, you can be able to find the full interview and the feature story, including the video that I've been bragging about, right there, right here on the hypemagazine.com shortly. And then you'll also be able to check them out on Google News right after the publishing on the Hype Magazine as well. Till next time, man, I really appreciate you. The Hype Magazine, Dr. Jerry Dobie, Messiah Harris, aka Buddy Red. Appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate you, Dr. Jerry.
All right. Peace.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Cause I'm black.
Really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out the Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.